Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing my recipe for German Dunkel cake, which is a dark chocolate gingerbread cake. So we are going to start out by getting together our dry ingredients with 2.5 cups of flour, 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda, 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon, a half teaspoon of cloves, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then we're just going to mix those together and set those aside for later. Next, we are going to get together our wet ingredients. And this starts out with 1 cup of a dark German beer. And typically you would use a Dunkel beer, which is a lager with some deep chocolatey notes. And that is the beer that is usually used to make this cake. But you can use any sort of dark lager that you have. Then we are going to do a cup of molasses. This also has a very rich, deep flavor, and that's sort of the theme going on in this cake. And we are also going to add in 1 tablespoon of fresh ginger as well, and we're just going to whisk that all together until all of the molasses is mixed in. So the beer is going to add depth to the flavor, but it also has some natural leavening abilities, so it will be able to give a little bit of an extra lift to our cake. So now we are going to move along to creaming 1/2 cup of softened butter until nice and light and fluffy, and then we're going to add in a 1/2 cup of sugar, once again creaming until light and fluffy. Then we will add 1 egg. So as I said, Dunkel is a dark chocolate gingerbread cake, and it is traditionally served around Christmas time, and it has a very deep flavor. It's almost a little bit bitter because of all the dark flavors that are in the molasses and the beer, but it is lightened up by the fresh ginger and the spices. So now we are going to begin adding our flour and our wet ingredients in additions of 3. First starting out with 1/3 of the flour, then 1/3 of the molasses and beer, and then continuing until you finish with the wet ingredients. And this cake batter is pretty thick. It almost resembles like a pound cake. It is a pretty thick batter. The addition of the beer will also add extra moisture along with the molasses. So this is a very moist cake, and it is a type of gingerbread, but it is a little bit more interesting just because of those added chocolate notes. So once everything is all blended together and you don't see any streaks of anything, we are going to add in 3.5 ounces of dark chocolate, as well as 2 ounces of chopped crystallized ginger. And this will just add some more of the chocolate and ginger throughout the cake. Historically, Dunkel was supposed to be made with sort of the ingredients that you already had in your pantry, but I know that for me, I don't always have crystallized ginger and a dark lager lying around, so I would say always be prepared before you make the Dunkel. Just make sure that you have all of the ingredients. That's really the most challenging part, just making sure that you have everything to make it. So now we're going to put it into a prepared bundt pan. I would recommend dusting the bundt pan with cocoa powder. I did not. I did flour, but it does leave a little bit of residue. And then we are going to bake this at 350 degrees for about an hour, or until it reaches an internal temperature of 210 degrees. So you can see here, it's got a nice crack, it has a nice crust, it has baked well, and then I just finished up by adding a light sprinkling of powdered sugar. It looks a little bit like snow, and that's great since this is a winter/Christmas time treat. Thank you so much for watching. As always, the recipe will be in the description below, as well as on my website, bakingwithbrie.com. Feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video so you don't miss any in the future, and feel free to leave any suggestions in the comments below for future videos. Bye!